gang, and welcome back to Flower Gothic's Eternal Torment, the final chapter. Can y'all hear me okay? Am I audible? Na 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 na. A bit quieter than usual. Okay, I'll turn the mic up. Hello, DSI friend. Hello, everyone else who happens to be in chat. Welcome to the final fucking chapters of Swedish American Royal Love Story. Thank Christ, we are almost done with this nonsense. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, that's a pretty face. And I promise that after this I'll put a bit of a moratorium on cursed royalty fanfiction, because this was a lot, and I'm sure y'all will appreciate the break from my normal cursed monarchy bullshit. So, am I visible? Okay. I am very visible. Just a quick disclaimer, because I am clearly the luckiest person in the world, I'm having a minor allergic reaction while filming this. Okay, here's the deal. I have a mild sensitivity to eggs. Like, if they're cooked into something, like bread or cake, I'll be fine. But if it's like scrambled eggs or something, if I have too much of them, I'm gonna feel like death. But it's not enough to, like, grant me an EpiPen or even a Benadryl, so, we're just going to have to live with it. I'm fine, by the way, like, I can still breathe. It's not like I have an actual allergy to eggs, it's just a sensitivity. I actually am allergic to pine nuts. And that's a miserable experience. Though if I remain this allergenic or whatever, I'll probably down a Benadryl after this. Oh well. So last time we left off, we only went one chapter because I was feeling a little sick. So, Lucy got her wedding dress and Sophia gave birth. That's all that happened. So now we're on the wedding chapter. Yay! Yay. Chapter 40, The Wedding. Hey, Super Dark, welcome to the final part of this madness! Yes! May 31, 2016, Stelcobe. Lucy had been in Sweden for a week. Apparently, she hadn't been spending that much time in Seville. Finalizing details for the wedding. It was the day before the wedding, brought to you by the Department of Redundancy Department. And time for the rehearsal that afternoon at a private dinner hosted by the King and Queen Island of Skip Sulman. Lucy wore her custom light pink embellished Tom Ford gown. Tom Ford is Estonian? I hate that. The private dinner had speeches from the King, Kapu, and Isak on behalf of him and Lucy, which we would have shown, but that would have led to character development, which is illegal. Crown Princess Mary, she's back! Finish your drink! Found Lucy quickly when she arrived. She gave her a big hug, unlikely, and asked about honoring her mother during the wedding, instead of asking about honoring her mother during the wedding. Lucy revealed that different things would take place during the wedding for her mother, including wearing her mother's wedding veil, instead of actually saying that, because that would have led to character development, which is illegal in a Krystal Smith book. Much to the surprise of the media and royal watchers, it was not Sophie and Edward who represented Queen Elizabeth, but rather William and Catherine? Fuck you! The Queen wouldn't pull that shit! Our new Queen of England, our Lady and Savior, Abigail Thorne, would not pull that shit! They would send Sophie and Edward, as they have done, for the actual weddings that happened that are canon. Go down a bunch of choke trees and tonic later on. Yeah, do it. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do the drinking game just yet. I want to wait until close to the end of the year so I can do the drinking game for the whole fanfiction just to see what would happen. And chances are I'm probably going to get very smashed, but it's not smashing time yet. Let's continue. Catherine had reached out and met Lucy after the engagement had been announced. Which we would have shown, but that would have led to character development, which is illegal in a Krystal Smith fanfiction. She kept in close contact and gave advice about entering the royal fold, which we would have shown, but that would have led to character development! Abigail Thorne has sent me to heaven, so Flower Gothic can send me to hell. Oh, God. Okay, Talbot, welcome. Do you feel represented? The Danish royal family had Crown Prince Frederick, Crown Princess Mary, Prince Joachim, and Princess Marie in attendance. Apparently, what's her name? Marguerite didn't attend. Honor was represented by Crown Princess Marguerite, Princess Martha Louise, she who speaks to angels, and she who I promised to make a video on eventually. Wait, weren't they in the middle of a divorce by then? Fuck. And Eriban. Both Prince Albert and Princess Charlie attended, as did Queen Mathilde and King Philippe. Queen Maxima and King Willem Alexander were there as well. Princess Takamado of Japan represented her family, and all the children of King Constantine and Queen Anne-Marie were there. The hereditary Grand Ducal couple of Luxembourg were in town. Fuck, I don't care! I don't care about the guest list, just give me the wedding dates! King Philippe, King Letizia, and Princess Leonor attended as Infanta. Sophia was serving as a bridesmaid. Felipe was the godfather to Isak. They repair their relationship for Lucy's wedding because the universe is serving her. Probably. I've been close to him his entire life, which would have shown, but that would have led to character development, which is illegal in a Krystal Smith fanfiction. He even made Isak one of Sophia's godparents. Sophia the Infanta, not Sophia the princess who thinks she's the queen. During the dinner, Maxima came up to Lucy. She had met her only one time before at Estelle's christening, but Maxima made her feel so welcome on that occasion. Well, of course, she's Max. Max is like the most extroverted of the whole shebang. Interesting you didn't add a rule for monarchic relations. I had to assume you didn't want it to be sued for murder. Well, the thing about it is that we don't actually see much of the other royal families. They only appear, like, actually have speaking roles here and during Estelle's christening, so there wouldn't really be a point. And besides, Mary appears in both of those segments, so I feel like Mary appearing would count. Lucy, dear, how are you? Nervous, I bet? Lucy curtsied and said, I am just a bit. Millions watching is a bit daunting. Are there any Swedes in the chat? How many people actually watch your goddamn royal weddings? Please don't curtsy. It's your wedding. I should curtsy to you, Maxima said with a wink. She then added, so tell me, who is the designer of the wedding dress? Lucy smiled. Yes, ma'am. If I told you that, though, I'd have to kill you. Fuck. Is this a reference to that, like, book all white female middle schoolers are obsessed with, called, like, I'd say I love you, but then I'd have to kill you? That's a real book, by the way. I'll prove it to you. It's called the Gallagher Girl series by Allie Carter. I think she also wrote The Click. I will zoom in for you. I tell you I love you, but then I'd have to kill you. Cross my heart and hope to spy. Don't judge a girl by her cover. Only the good spy young. I imagine Krystal Smith was probably the target audience when these books were released. Anyway, it's about a group of English girls who are training to be spies, and this one falls in love. I think that's what it's about. I've never read these before, so fuck if I know. Let's see. That was the summary of this. Okay. Released in 2006. So Krystal Smith would have been like 15, 16. So yeah, she would probably read that shit. I saw girls at my middle school read it. I didn't think it looked that interesting. Moving on. This set Maxima into laughter. Smart response! In all seriousness, how are you doing? I know things have been hard these past few months. I want you to know you have an ear in me anytime, which is why we've only met one other time before. Those of us who married in almost have almost a secret club. Except that, a lot of these people don't really like Mary that much because she's an absolute ass. We share advice and actually speak quite often. We usually try to have lunch or dinner a few times a year in random places, which we all hope you'll attend. Sophia and Daniel mentioned that to me. I will most definitely be there. I'll be picking all of your brains for years to come, and I'm okay. It's hard. Another reminder, she's a grown-ass woman when she writes this. Yeah, Krystal was in like her mid-20s when she wrote this. I'm still waiting for a good chance to like subtweet her for her Republican biases, but that time hasn't come yet, sadly. We're always around to lend an ear, and I know it is! Just say strong! Maxima responded as she headed to greet Felipe and Letizia. The evening continued until 11 p.m. Isak was spending the evening at Drottningholm with his parents and siblings. Lucy and her family were staying in the royal mews. Mew, 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 mew. Meow, 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 meow. I'm sorry. June 1, 2016, Royal Mews. Lucy wakes up at 10:30 a.m. The wedding was set for 5 p.m. at the Royal Chapel of Stockholm Palace. Lucy was emotional that morning, looking around and not seeing her mother. Her brother and father were emotional too, but tried to keep their emotions in check to keep Lucy from crying too much, which we would have shown, but that would have led to character development. That's illegal in a Krystal Smith fanfiction. They had a quick breakfast before Madeline, Victoria, and Sophia dropped by around noon with a present from the family. Lucy opened the box to find a new tiara that featured diamonds and orange sapphires. Oh god, that sounds gross. Are orange sapphires even a thing? Orange sapphires are quite rare and are some of the most difficult sapphires to find in a natural, untreated state. The color of most orange sapphires has a secondary tone of yellow as well. Intense orange sapphires that are untreated and naturally orange color can be expensive and difficult to find in a larger carat size. Of all orange sapphires seen in the marketplace of websites and jewelry stores, most, if not all of them, will be treated with extreme heat to produce the vibrant orange color. These stones are not rare and are not expensive. So basically, they just gave her a pile of dog shit. So either they just gave her a pile of dog shit by having these heat-treated orange sapphires super glued on the tiara, or, you know, they actually bent over backwards to get real natural orange sapphires, which are super rare. The amount of children that were killed extracting them. So I'm guessing these are the most children that were killed. Because, like, blue sapphires are common as fuck. But, you know, changing color sapphires are rare. Anyway, thank you, Natural Sapphire Company. We use the orange sapphires mixed with diamonds, shine bright like a diamond, to match the colors of Tennessee. Well, how much are orange sapphires anyway, considering how most of them are heat treated? So they're just like $30 on Etsy. Wait a second. Wait. These are shiny rocks. I want to buy all the shiny rocks for my gym soon. Wait a second. Why didn't they just get Pad Precious sapphires? I don't know how to pronounce that. Why didn't they just get these sapphires? They're like... They're more common than the orange sapphires. For the love of Christ. Get your shit together, Krystal Smith. We thought it was a great way to show tribute to your home today, and all the other times you wear it in the future. It was partially made from jewels given to Mama from the King of Saudi Arabia. In case you didn't know already, this royal family is corrupt and they deal with oil tycoons who oppress their population, especially their women and children. Children definitely died getting them. Lucy had tears in her eyes. Oh, I love it! Thank you all so much! She then went and hugged each of them. Victoria, Madeline, and Sophia stayed for a little over an hour joking to ease Lucy's nerves. Oh, I almost forgot. Chris said to thank you, Lucy, Madeline said. For what, Lucy asked. For being an American like... Chris is technically English. He was raised in the UK. He had dual citizenship. He went to Boston University, but went to English schools before that, if I recall correctly. So that part of the dinner last night wedding today will be in English. He's really struggling to pick up Swedish. He really doesn't have to. He's a private citizen. Ugh. Lucy said with a wink, well, tell him we did that just for him. Americans have to stick together. He's English! Sophia then says, okay, before we leave, can we take a peek at your dress, please? Lucy takes him to the closet where she is hanging up for them to see. It's by Carolina Herrera. Please tell me she's not a Houstonian as well. Okay, good. She's not a Houstonian. She's dressed so many of the American First Ladies. She really took my opinions and upbringing into consideration. What do y'all think? Victoria, Madeline, and Sophia all stand there with their mouths open before Victoria says, it's absolutely gorgeous! So perfectly you! I can't wait to see you in the church! Let's, I'm assuming they're gonna Krystal's gonna describe the dress when she walks down the aisle, so, we'll see it as it comes. Madeline and Sophia agree. Instead of agreeing, they all give her a hug and head back to Drotting home to finish getting ready. Victoria and Madeline had to get Estelle, Leonor, and Nicholas ready. Madeline kept telling Lucy that Leonor would not be the best flower girl, but Lucy insisted she be in the wedding alongside Estelle. Well... Motherfucker, she's 2! She's not gonna be a good flower girl! This is gonna be like 10 pages of description. Oh god, we're not even halfway through yet. Oh my god. Should I get some wine to like finish this off? The big finale dream royal wedding for Krystal. Should I get some wine? Get some stiff drinks. We don't really have anything hard in my kitchen. Give me like 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. So, we don't have any hard stuff right now, but I do have some Pinot Noir, and since this is the last volume of Swedish American Royal Love Story, I figured I earned it. Everyone knows Tyler's are the best flower girls. It's always a good omen when they get distracted and run off. Yes, exactly. Okay. After they leave, Lucy continues to fuck off. Get ready. Someone clip that, please. At 4:45, she and her father leave Dad toward the Royal Chapel where the ceremony and later reception would be broadcast live on SVT as per tradition. Are there any Swedes in the chat? You deserve a solid drink. Thank you, thank you. Can't wait to finally buy alcohol for real. Her brother, Will, take a drink. Her brother, Will, the son of Thomas, and the husband of Anne. Arrived with Isak and served as a groomsman. Because America. Carl Catpoo was Isak's best man. Just ahead of Lucy and her father entering the church, Estelle, Leonore, Sophia, Nicholas, and Lucy's cousin Zach. Because, who the fuck is Zach? Is he only gonna appear here? Just say, like, Lucy's cousin, for fuck's sake. The girls wore light orange dresses with purple ribbon while the boys wore black suits with purple ties. Zach, who was about 8, held onto Nicholas's hand while Estelle held hands with Leonore. About a fourth of the way up the aisle, Leonore broke free. She ran up the aisle and turned around when she got to the altar to look at Estelle while she stuck her tongue out. Ah, you were right, Albert. You were right. Leonore was gonna pull some shit because she's 2. You always assume I'm older. Well, I mean, I tend to be the baby in all the friend groups because I'm not friends with many other, like, 20-year-olds. Estelle smacked her hand to her forehead and kept walking patiently up the aisle. I believe that you didn't read ahead, Albert. Don't worry. As Lucy and Thomas arrived and began to enter the church, the Tennessee Waltz began to play? The what? I've never heard of this before. No, videos. I'm assuming it's this. Please don't flag me, Twitch. This is not walk down the aisle music. This is first dance at Hick wedding music. My darling, to the Tennessee Waltz. Lucy was in a bespoke Carolina Herrera gown with short lace sleeves. Email it if you want to see the pic. I introduced her to my Tumblr links are weird like that. And while they were dancing, 404. My friend stole my sweetheart. Well, we can use our imagination. She wore hair in an updo with her new tiara and the traditional sprig of myrtle under the veil of her mother's. Lucy was also wearing her mother's wedding ring on her left thumb and a pair of Chanel earrings her mother bought her as a surprise one Christmas. She carried the traditional Swedish bouquet. Just how much well, Krystal Smith really is laying out all the weird conservative fantasies. Yeah, pretty much. Yes, Isak had tears in his eyes as Lucy walked halfway with her father to meet him. Sylvia, Madeline, Sophia, Daniel, and Victoria were also emotional. Because, of course, they're at gunpoint. They have to deal with this. Lucy and Isak joined hands and bowed and curtsied to the monarch seated before them. They then walked the rest of the way to the altar together as Isak told Lucy, "You're the most beautiful woman in the world." Next, Obama is the fastest president! And what, Marco Rubio's instilled? Because I know she was, like, for Rubio. For some reason. Captain Lars Grunlarnermark, Bishop Emeritus and the Chief Court Chaplain of Wethman Michael Bjerkhagen, Court Chaplain and Rector of the Royal Court Parish, conducted the ceremony because, we apparently need to know the identities of all the people in the church. Why do we need to know this? Lars Grunlarnermark said a prayer after the music concluded before speaking to those who assembled.
I introduced her to my loved one.
Okay, still going. Will then read from 1 Corinthians 13, which was read at Anne's funeral. Okay. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith I can move mountains, but do not have love, I'm nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to the hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others. I'm assuming the song's done now. Okay. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Oh, totally a good amen. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me, unlike Krystal Smith here. For now we only see a reflection as in a mirror, then we shall see face to face. And now I am part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. Amen. Hail to our new goddess, Abigail Thorne. Next, Victoria spoke, reading the poem You Came To by Nikki Giovanni in Swedish. Mine Swedish. I came to the crowd seeking friends. I came to the crowd seeking love. I came to the crowd for understanding. I found you. I came to the crowd to weep. I came to the crowd to laugh. You dried my tears. You shared my happiness. I went from the crowd seeking you. I went from the crowd seeking me. I went from the crowd forever. You came too. The singer then sang God Gave Me You, originally by Blake Shelton. Okay. Next song. Oh god, is this country? No! No! Okay. I'm pretty okay with country now because at my old job we had to like listen to country every 5 songs. Is this Christian? Please tell me it's not Christian rock. Okay, cool. Is he a Republican? I don't see anything, okay. They then began their vows of Lucy going first. I, Lucille Ann Kingston, take you, Isak Gustav Sebastian Walther, to be my husband, to share with you both sorrow and joy and be faithful to you until death parts us. Isak then followed, and like his sister Madeline, recited his vows in Swedish, which we won't show, but I will read them. I, Isak Gustav Sebastian Walther, take you, Lucille Ann Kingston, to be my wife, to share with you both sorrow and joy, and be faithful to you until death parts us. Blake Shelton is loud. I'm sorry. 1 second.
There's more here than what we're seeing, a divine conspiracy.
congregation then said the Lord's Prayer before the choir then began to sing how great thou art. Lucy and Isak then went to the candle at the side of the chapel to light it while a singer sang Mama's Song, originally by Carrie Underwood. A photo of Anne was sitting beside the memorial candle. Are they really doing this during the wedding? Why? That's... What? Why would you do this? Why? They returned back to the altar with Lucy crying. Isak reached over and wiped the tears from her eyes. Reverend Michael Bierkagen then said a memorial prayer for Anne, fucking hell, and other members of both families who were no longer with them. Right before Isak and Lucy made their exit, a singer named Stevie Wonders, no relation to Stevie Wonder, a singer sang Stevie Wonder's Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours. The new royal couple walked back down the aisle as the song was ending. As the rest of the congregation left, the orchestra played the wedding march from Daria. This is outrageously fucked up. It is. It really is. Lucy and Isak then rode in a carriage through the streets of Stockholm and then returned to Stockholm Palace where the reception would be held. The attendees were on the balcony and they waved to the crowds, all 50 of them, all 50 people in the crowds, because no one in Sweden gives a shit, before giving the crowd what they wanted, a kiss. The king then led the crowd to the traditional 4 cheers for the couple. Everyone then moved inside for the wedding banquet and White Sea Ballroom. Lucy took inspiration from the floral decorations Sophia had used, which all looked like penises, during their wedding, with purple, white, and orange being the theme. That's ugly. Is it almost done? I don't care. The king spoke first before the meal began. He congratulated his son and new daughter-in-law and wished them well for the future. He thanked Sweden for their support and shared joy of the new union. He also thanked the country for welcoming Lucy with open arms. Afterwards, he dedicated a toast to the couple. The 4-course meal was then served, which we won't show because that would lead to character development, before more speeches were given. Isak began his speech in Swedish before switching over to English to repeat what he had first said. Your Majesties, Your Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Lucy and I are honored to have you all here to celebrate us taking our vows before God! You mean our new goddess, Abigail Thorne. And you all to spend the rest of our lives together. It means so much to us for you all to be here. Mama and Papa, thank you for raising me to be the man I am today. Thank you for dedicating your life to Sweden and teaching us how to serve. Thank you for letting us choose our own paths in life and marry the love of our lives just like you two did over 30 years ago. Thomas, I want to thank you for allowing me to marry your daughter. I know she will forever be your baby girl, but I promise to be good to her, take care of her, and love her for the rest of my life. That is so fucking American, I can't. A 4-course meal which will not be shown because it is not Outback Steakhouse. Yes! Yes! Outback Steakhouse is fucking cursed! She is the best thing that has ever happened to me. I am truly blessed to have you as a father-in-law and to have known Anne. She was a wonderful woman who is terribly missed tonight. Stop talking about your dead mother, Lucy! We will carry on her memory. Lucy, my love, there is no words to describe how much I love you. As the Savage Garden song says, I knew I loved you before I met you. I think I dreamed you into life. What song is this? Savage Garden, I knew I loved you. Okay. About intuitive and inevitable love. This looks very white. I'm going to close out now. It's hawk crime. Cuisine, the Swedish monarchs are literally fridge. That is true. That is true. I remember the first day I spotted you. It was love at first sight, but I couldn't get the courage to speak to you, so I acted like a stalker. Thank God! Goddess, I did. We have had our ups and downs, but through it all, as our love reigned. I will always love you. And Our lives are forever intertwined. I am so happy and proud to be your husband. I'll protect you and cherish you all our lives. I love you. As the reception moved on to the dancing, Lucy went to change in another Caroline Hera collection. Let's see if this link works. That dress is fucking ugly. It doesn't fit the model that well. It looks too large for the model, so it's drooping all over the place. I cannot bring myself to be in pain or anger. I'm just glad this is over. We have 2 chapters left. Now, in a good fan fiction, it would have ended with the wedding. But nope, we have 2 chapters left. Lucy and Isak then enter the Carl Levis Gallery to the fight song for their alma mater, Rocky Top. I'm not going to bother playing it. Of course, all Tennessee fans in the room, plus Lucy and Isak, sang along at the top of their lungs. I'm not even going to fucking bother with that. It was there that they cut the cake. Will this work? Will this work? Ah, fuck. It just didn't bother. We'll use our imaginations for what the cake looked like. Decorated with orange roses, with Isak soared before their first dance to carry us on towards Heartbeat. Next came their father-daughter dance to Butterfly Kisses. Lucy and her father started the song before other father-daughter duos joined in. Daniel danced with Stellas, Chris danced with Lanor, Carl Gustav danced half the song with Victoria and the other half with Madeline. The reception continued until 4 a.m. before Lucy and Isak retired to their room for the first night as husband and wife. Fuck, I was hoping there would be an actual sex scene, you know, something legitimately interesting, but nope. We gotta include a pregnancy. Well, we'll see. June 6, 2016, my mom's 49th birthday. Yeah, 49th. Stockholm Palace. Lucy dressed in the Swedish national dress, and Isak arrived outside Stockholm Palace with the crowds patiently waiting. Isak gave a short speech before declaring the palace open for the summer. Later on, the family gathered again in carriages and traveled through the streets of Stockholm before heading to Skansen Museum for an evening concert. The king and queen rode in one carriage, Victoria, Daniel, Estelle, Catherine, Sophia in the second carriage, Madeline, Chris, Isak, Lucy rode in the third carriage. Afterwards, they returned to Stockholm Palace for a reception for representatives of Parliament, government, public, Sweden, and parts of the diplomatic corps. A Tapto military evening signal then took place at Långgarden. Lucy and Isak prepared to leave for their honeymoon in Mustuk the next morning. Well, this scene was pointless. Where's Mystique? Oh, it's just in the West Indies. Okay. Whatever. Chapter 41. We're getting there. We're getting there. This is the penultimate chapter. Chapter 41, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, August 5, 2016. Isak and Lucy sought out the Maracanã Stadium alongside Crown Princess Mary and Crown Prince Frederick for the opening ceremony. Were they even at Rio? Fuck, who cares? Lucy had a pin on her jacket that had both the Swedish and American flags intertwined. She clapped and cheered when the Swedish team entered the arena. Her American pride came out when the United States team came out, though, as Mary's Australian pride came out when the Australian team came into the arena. Y'all are representing different countries now. Isn't it a bit of a conflict of interest for you to be representing the country that you were born in when your job is to represent an entirely different country, you dumbasses? Isak and Lucy stayed for several days to watch the games alongside the king and queen, because apparently, Daniel and Victoria couldn't make it because the lizard, I guess. If no one from Sweden was competing in the competition, brought to you by the Department of Freedom Department, Lucy was wearing her USA jacket. Likewise, if no Americans were in the competition, she wore her Sweden jacket. If Swedish athletes were competing alongside the Americans, she wore a mixture. That's a terrible idea. Wear the Swedish jacket, you dumbass. You're representing Sweden now, Princess Lucille! Lucy made sure to even get a suite in the aquatic center to see Michael Phelps swim in person. Fuck. That's like the ultimate white girl dream. Even Isak, the king and queen were cheering for him. The king called him the best swimmer of our time. The queen said she was happy to see history made in person. You know, instead of all the other times history was made in person. Sweden. Eventually, I will do a video about the Olympics. That was actually going to be my February video this year, but I sent the script to a couple friends for feedback, and they said that it's toothless. It's not really like an argumentative piece, so I've put it in the back burner for a little while. Sweden did not make it to the finals in women's gymnastics, so Lucy went along to cheer on the US team on August 9. If you have a seed with Simone Biles, Lucy, I am going to raise hell. Hybrid-specific sports BS drink. She was extremely proud to see the U.S. women's team win gold for the second Olympics in a row. She made sure to go down and personally congratulate the ladies after their win. Do not fucking mention Simone Biles by name. Remember the media joke that Lucy was more excited to meet them, even though all 5 ladies were excited to meet a princess in person. She happily posed for selfies and even posted one image on her Instagram. Apparently she's allowed an Instagram now. Whatever. Congratulating the team. Royal Muse, November 8, 2016. Oh god, no, 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 not politics, not politics. Fuck! Lucy was glued to a live feed on her computer late into the night. The political science nerd in her had to stay up to know who was elected. Isak kept trying to get her to come to bed, telling her she needed to rest. No, I'm staying up. Literally, this is close. And by my calculations, this is going to be an upset. Trump has it, Lucy says. But not even Wisconsin is in yet. Florida or Pennsylvania, Isak says. Ugh, I don't fucking care. I'm watching votes trickle in both Wisconsin and Florida. He's a good amount in both, and the big Democrat counties have already been counted. My cousin in Philly texted me and said local news there have already called the state for Trump. It's the national news who is waiting to be 100%. God, this states this fan fiction so terribly. No way. Hillary has had this in the bag. Chris said that just last week. Isak, I love Chris. He's my brother-in-law. But he's wrong. She's had this loss for the past few weeks. He's looking at it from the typical view. I'm looking and analyzing this as a political scientist. The signs have been there. I think everyone has just been in denial. Are you ever going to tell me who you voted for? I wrote in Marco Rubio. Called it, bitches. I don't know if this was ran for the 2016 election, but I can't believe she put the election in her fan fiction. Like, what does this have to do with anything? Except to remind us that Lucy is Republican. Take a drink. I wasn't voting for Hillary, and I wasn't voting for Trump. I don't like either. Bernie was the only good candidate that year. I still cannot fucking believe the Democrats had the gall to shove Hillary into the spotlight at Bernie's expense. I don't like either. It's so weird, though, having to mail it in. It took away the whole going to the polls and pushing the button feeling I love. It's not always a button. Sometimes it's a dial. In my county, it's a dial. You can check the date at the bottom of the page, yeah. I love how you get excited for voting. Isak says he rolls his eyes. You knew that when you married me, elections are like the Super Bowl to me. Fuck off, Lucy responds. Isak shakes his head and gives his wife a kiss before going to bed. He knew she would be up all night and the world was going to wake up to a terrible shock that only she believed would happen in the entire Swedish royal family. Well, that scene was pointless! Drottningholm Palace, December 13, 2016. The photographer says smile as Isak and Lucy pose by a fireplace. They couldn't wait to share the news the next day. Oh god, no. Is she pregnant? To take another photo of Lucy's dogs before us. Apparently Lucy has dogs now. Before Estelle holding Oscar, Leonor, and Nicholas run in. Sophia follows closely behind, carrying Alexander. Each wore matching shirts for a photo that Lucy and Isak wanted privately to hang in their home at the Royal Mews. Oh god, no. Is this gonna be like that white lady, like two pregnant ladies in the same photo? Fuck my life. In case there's any doubt, Krystal Smith was bonkers still. We got this. She's totally off her rockers. I cannot fucking wait to subtweet this bitch. The five cousins sit on the couch to where their shirts can be seen. They each wear pink shirts that say, "I'm going to be a big cousin." Of course, the family knew Lucy is carrying a girl. And they have been privately planning the nursery ever since they found out she was pregnant. Madeline and Victoria were most excited when Sophia not far behind. They all three started helping Lucy plan the nursery. When Isak tried to intervene, Cat Poo pulled him away. Don't. What? Why? I want to help with my daughter's nursery, Isak replies. Isak, it's for your own safety, ... Stay out. Lucy has pregnancy hormones. Fuck you! Fucking hell! Back with those pregnancy hormones. Not even your self-insert is safe from them. What the fuck? Madeline and Victoria already are experts with two children. Sophia literally just went through this earlier this year, as did Victoria. Let them be if you want to live, Daniel says. Look, I know Daniel's a himbo, but I have faith that he would not go to the low bar of chalking up something a woman is doing to pregnancy hormones. But Kapu glows at his brother. Go ahead and try it. You'll regret it. Only help is asked. Isak rolls his eyes. Fine. So what do we do while they plan? Chris answers, drink, as he put his arm around Isak's shoulder. The next morning at 8 a.m., the royal court sends out a press release with the photo of Prince Isak and Princess Lucy with their dogs that says, Prince Isak and Princess Lucy have the great pleasure to announce they are expecting their first child. Princess Lucy is doing well in her birth is expected in May 2017. If it's May 13th, 2017, I'm going to throw a goddamn fit. During the winter and spring of 2017, no major changes are expected for the Princess's program. The Princess Protection Program, that is. Lucy had taken Madeline's advice and created an official Facebook. She went one step further to have an official Twitter and Instagram to keep the public updated on the royal family and her activities, as well as insights into their life. Whatever. She had an engagement that day to visit the ALS clinic at Umeå University. The ALS Association has been the first patronage she took up. No shit! She had hidden her pregnancy well for the first 4 months, but now she was happy to be able to show off her small bump. She wore black pants, black Jimmy Choo heels, and a red sweater under her Burberry coat. Do I have Jimmy Choo heels? I think I might have some like Jimmy Choo shoes. Jimmy Choo shoes. Give me like 1 second. Okay, I don't, my bad. I do have some, like, secondhand designer shoes for my mom and maternal grandmother because we all have the same shoe size, despite the fact that we're completely different heights. In a red sweater under her Burberry coat, she was visiting the clinic to attend a Christmas party for the patients with ALS. She was also wearing her mother's small Christmas wreath brooch in her memory. She posted about the Christmas event on her social media saying, "I had a wonderful day spending time and celebrating Christmas with the patients here at the ALS clinic at Umea University. They are such inspirations and great work is being done with research. One day we will find a cure. Thank you to everyone for this wonderful day." She was overwhelmed with messages of congratulations from people from all over the world about her pregnancy. She was just so happy to finally share the news. She had suffered some bad morning sickness for the first 3 months, but she was thankful it was nothing like what the Duchess of Cambridge had suffered. Luckily, she was able to keep it hidden and continued her engagements. This engagement was the last official one until after the Christmas and New Year holiday, which they would be spending in Tennessee with their family to be close to her father and brother on the first Christmas without Anne. Remember, she's dead now. Isak and Lucy flew out just 4 days after the palace Christmas lunch for the staff and family at Stockholm Palace. They arrived early in the morning in Knoxville on December 19. Will suffered a season-ending injury to his shoulder in October, so he was home to pick them up. They spent the next few days celebrating Anne's memory. Thomas remarked that the birth of their first grandchild would be an even more welcomed addition, as it would be another piece of Anne. Mimi, the name Anne always said she wanted to be called when she became a grandmother. Late on December 23, Sylvia's birthday, Carl Gustav called Isak to tell him that his mother had been taken to the hospital after collapsing at the Christmas concert. She was going to be kept overnight, and Madeline was with her. When Isak told Lucy, Lucy almost collapsed herself hearing it. No, she has to be okay. This has to be just exhaustion, right? Isak, obviously extremely worried, but recognizing the fear Lucy had for him after losing her mother, told her he was sure it would be all fine. Madeline was due to call the next day, Christmas Eve, with an update. Hopefully Sylvia would be going home to Drottningholm Palace by Christmas Day. Posted 3 years ago. So, yeah, Trump was president by then. Fuck my life! Okay. Last chapter, gang! Y'all excited? Let's do it, bitches! February 4, 2017, Royal Muse. Lucy sits at the computer debating whether or not to post the photo to Facebook. She knows the tradition is to keep the gender a secret until birth, but Madeline did break that with Leonor. After about 10 minutes of debating back and forth, Lucy makes the post. Isak and I couldn't wait to share this news until her birth. We are having a girl, she says, with a photo of all the future princess's cousins in pink shirts saying, "I'm going to be a big cousin." Within minutes, it had thousands of likes, and the Swedish media had picked up on it. Madeline had shared it and made a post of her own within 2 minutes of it going live. Madeline was actually the one who encouraged Lucy to share the news since it was really bothering her to hide it. Isak came in a few hours later looking a bit stressed. "What's wrong?" Lucy asks. "I was with Papa when you made the Facebook post. He went ballistic in the car. He hated it when Madeline announced it, and he won't be happy this time either." Isak responds. "Uh-oh," Lucy says before tears start pouring. He thought Madeline was a basket of emotions during her pregnancy, but nothing prepared him for Lucy. It's those pregnancy hormones. Damn. He goes to call Victoria, who rushes over. Soon as she walks in the door alongside Estelle, Cat Poo follows closely behind. Victoria goes straight to Lucy with Estelle not far behind. Cat Poo grabs his brother Sierra and drags him to the kitchen. "Damn it, Isak! What the hell were you thinking telling her that? We didn't even tell Madeline until after Leonor was born! You are a fucking moron!" But Isak tries to say before Cat Poo interrupts. "Don't! Mama is going to have your head when she sees you for this." Nervous Isak then says, "Does Madeline know yet? You better hope not. She will rip you a new one. Vic and I won't be able to keep her from killing you this time." What even is the problem here? Like, okay, yeah, you're not supposed to hear the gender until after the baby's born, but whatever. Meanwhile, Estelle is called in Lucy's lap with tissues while Victoria tries to console Lucy. "Don't cry, Papa is just a control freak. It's your life, and it's now or never. And your decision. Madeline did it too. She's still alive and kicking. He will forget it soon, and when he sees her after she's born, he won't care that you revealed it. A sobbing Lucy says, "Are you sure?" "Positive." Then Estelle gives Lucy a big hug and kiss and says, "Don't cry, Auntie Lucy." "I still love you bunches. Plus, I had already told all my friends, so move far." Which is, the Swedish word for maternal grandfather. "Should be mad at me." "Oh, Estelle, ever the little grown-up. You are so sweet. I love you too," Lucy says as she hugs Estelle tight. "Don't worry, I'll have a talk with Morfar," Estelle says as she goes looking for cat poo. The next day, the whole family was due to have dinner at Druddencolm. Lucy was nervous after hearing of Carl Gustav's reactions. When they sat down at the table, little Estelle got everyone's attention. "I have a very important announcement, Morfar." "Well, Estelle, dear, what is it?" Carl Gustav says, smiling. Oh, God. This scene is going to be cringe. I know it. "I was the one who told first about my baby princess cousin. Everyone at school knew before Lucy, so you can't be mad at her. It's all my fault. Take my inheritance. I don't care. I give up the throne." What the fuck? Estelle, you are 5. Take a shot. Fucking hell. I think the red wine has kind of cleared up the allergic reaction I was getting. Could you backtrack like 2 paragraphs? There was some truth right outside your wall. So basically Lucy revealed the gender of her child, so Carl Gustav is being all pissy about it, and Estelle thought it would be a grand idea for her to take blame for revealing the gender of the baby. Apparently she thought this would work. Carl Gustav says, "Well then, dear Estelle, I can't be mad at Lucy then, but you can't give up the throne, my dear. We all forgive you. You'll be the greatest queen Sweden has ever had." Estelle jumps down and hugs her grandfather, then runs to hug Lucy. After dinner, Carl Gustav apologizes to Lucy with Sylvia at his side. Sylvia gives her a big hug and tells her not to worry anymore. He just turns into the Hulk occasionally when things don't go how he plans. It was the icing on the cake that day after issues with the press. The family enjoys the rest of the evening together, which we would have shown, but that would have led to character development, blah, blah, blah. And Lucy and Isak return home fairly early. February 10, 2017. Royal. Meow, 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 meow. Lucy and Isak are headed out for an event at Stockholm City Hall where they will be attending a seminar on the Sustainable Development Goals. The day went well, with the couple posing for photos and arriving and Isak speaking during the closing segment. They did not know a storm was waiting for them with the press outside. As they walk out of their car, the cameras start flashing and a reporter starts shouting questions in Swedish. Lucy is still not fluent in the language and struggles to understand. One word she did catch was Zika in Brazil. Isak tenses up and goes over to the press. Lucy follows closely behind. The reporter asks, "Is it true you conceived the princess while in Rio for the Olympics?" Lucy quickly responds back in Swedish, "That's a very personal question we don't wish to share. What do you have to say about all the risks associated with pregnant women in Brazil?" Wait. She was 4 months pregnant by December, right? That would mean she would have conceived in August. Potentially during Brazil. But normally, when you're tracking pregnancy development, you only track conception, based on conception, if you know the exact day you conceived. If that's not the case, you track from your last menstrual cycle. So they probably wouldn't have known. They ignore the question and head back to the car, but not before Isak hears one that infuriates him. "Don't you think it was irresponsible and potentially deadly to do that to your child? What if it is born with defects? Won't you regret it? They already know it's a girl. Why don't you respond with the she? Oh yeah, babies are property. Fuck it." He storms back. Let me tell you something. That baby is a miracle. We will not regret having her. That question is uncalled for and unethical. How dare you ask us that? Fucking hell. Take a drink. Villain appears for the sake of being a villain. But hey, at least the incest subtext is gone. He storms back to the car, and the couple head to the royal meow 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 meow. By the time they get home, the conversation is all over the meow 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 news. They ignored it, but there was one story in particular that set them off. This story did not come out until after midnight online. It's all stated royal couple sets bad example and conceives new princess in Rio. Child may be born with serious defects. Well, did either of them have Zika while in Brazil? If not, if neither of them had Zika, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. These people are just xenophobic idiots. It's a slow news day. Exactly. This was probably only published on like Stop Napresna or some shit. SVT isn't reporting this shit. Aftonbladet isn't reporting this shit. It's only Stop Napresna. Isak saw the story while Lucy was in the shower. When she came out of the bathroom, she saw in Isak's face the fury. What's going on? Nothing. Don't worry about it. Isak, tell me. No, really, it's fine, honey. Let's go to bed. He goes over to kiss her goodnight, knowing that would melt her. They crawl into bed and Lucy grabs her phone. She sees the story immediately on Twitter. She shoots out of bed in rage. What the hell? How dare he? Isak tries to calm her, but Lucy starts pacing. She then begins to cry. Pregnancy hormones. She heads to the kitchen to get some water as Isak's phone rings. He sees that it is Madeleine and answers. What the bloody hell, Isak? You told her what Papa said? Are you an idiot? Lenny, not right now. It's not good. Isak hears glass drop in the kitchen. He takes off and sees Lucy doubled over in pain. Lucy then screams out in pain as Madeleine is asking what is going on over the phone. Isak tells her he has to go and hangs up quickly. Baby, what's wrong? Did you step on glass when you dropped the glass of water? I'll get it cleaned up. No, Isak, not water from glass. Water broke in labor. Ah! Oh my gosh, Lucy, she's not due until May. We are getting you to the hospital now. He carries Lucy to the car himself and speeds away with the royal protection officer struggling to keep up. He arrives at Karolinska University Hospital in record time and rushes in as he orders the cars that call the palace. They rush Lucy into a room and examine her. The doctor informs him that she and the baby are in a lot of stress. They would do all they could to keep the baby from coming so early, but the new princess would be born months before her due date. In case you missed it, the 42 chapters that read above. And that, as they say, was all she wrote. Krystal Smith hinted at publishing a chapter 43, which would be the true final chapter, but she never did. But I have a confession to make. I actually did read this last paragraph a couple weeks back, so I have written my own true ending, my own chapter 43, and I will consider it canon. I hope you all consider it canon, okay? Okay. And if there's like enough popular demand, I will actually legit write this ending. You wrote a fanfic? Pretty much, yeah. So, let's see, where did I put it? Where did I put it? Fuck. I know I have it here somewhere. Here it is. Fuck! I accidentally opened a new tab. Sweden Royal Graphic, Chapter 43, True Ending. Lucy dies in childbirth, as does the baby. Isak is devastated and withdraws from everything and everyone. One night, he prays for guidance before falling asleep. He wakes up in what can only be described as a dreamy reality, kind of like Luna's dreamland from Animal Crossing New Horizons. There, he sees Chrysalis, or now, given the events of today, Abigail Thorne. The omniscient goddess of love, wishes, and time. She tells him that his love for Lucy was so strong, it got her attention. She will grant him one wish, as long as it's within her power. Isak wishes for Lucy to be brought back to life, but Chrysalis informs him she can't do that, as she does not have the power to revive the dead. Isak then wishes to be taken back in time to see Lucy again, but Chrysalis warns him that he'll forget anything that happens in the future, as hindsight cannot be taken with him. Isak then wishes for some way, any way, to be able to be with Lucy again and live a long, happy life with her. Chrysalis tells him she can reset the timeline to ensure that, but he nor Lucy won't remember a thing about their previous lives. After contemplating it, he agrees, and Chrysalis grants his wish. On January 6, 2011, we reset the timeline. A boy with blonde hair and blue eyes enters his Geography 102 course and sees a pretty petite brunette. She looks familiar, but is also a very beautiful girl. After class, he decides to approach her and asks if he's seen her somewhere before. She says probably not, but that he seems familiar too. They decide to take a walk together around the university to get to know each other. They talk about their lives. The girl is the youngest of two, her parents being a mechanic who passed away when she was young and a music teacher. The boy is an only child of a third-generation Swedish immigrant, his parents running a Scandinavian restaurant in Nashville. They talk more and decide to get lunch together, but then realize they didn't introduce each other. The girl is Lucille Amethyst Smith, Lucy for short. The boy is Isak Gustafsson. The end. And given the shit Krystal Smith has pulled in this fanfiction, I figured that would be a proper ending. Because I guess I feel sympathetic enough to want to give Lucy and Isak a happy ending, even if that means resetting the timeline and making Isak a peasant named Isak Gustafsson. It is not a time leap, Super Dark. Because Lucy and Isak were born in different contexts in this new timeline that has been reset, they will actually live a long and happy life together as peasants. So it's convoluted, I know, it's weird, it's an ass pull, but given what we know about this show, about the series, the fan fiction, it's fitting, isn't it? Isn't it? I thought you sent them to hell of repeating their lives in this fic, but you actually broke them free. Well, yeah. I mean, whatever. I guess I felt bad for these characters for having to be in such a terrible wish fulfillment fic, so I freed them. They can now live happily without the influence of Krystal Smith over their heads. But that's a very good way of putting it, Super Dark. I thought you sent them to hell of repeating their lives in this, but you actually broke them free. And now they can live a long, happy life together. Away from the press, away from the Swedish royals, away from fucking Sophia and Mary. They get to have their own happiness. Honestly, that's commendable of me. Thanks, I guess, Albert. Like, if there's enough popular demand, I will actually write that true ending. But I actually wrote like a little poem that I would like superimpose on the chapter, We may have never seen one another before, but you look awfully familiar. Those crystal eyes that dance like the stars seem difficult to forget. Forgive me if I sound cliché, it's just that you are beautiful, and you seem to be just as wonderful inside as you do outside. I know we have just met, but let us meet again and again, as this could be the start of a wonderful future for both you and me. Honestly, that's all I really have to say. Thank you very much for joining me on this Swedish American royal love journey, and goodbye.
三日月のシャーレに星のピアス外してどうしよう